Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Exes Podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Therese.
And we are the Exes. We're here to share with you, just a little bit about how exes can still be friends, best friends sometimes. It's not always the case where you have to throw everything away just because the relationship itself, there were broken pieces or things didn't work out. And we've had fun with this and talked about relationships and talked about other things. Recently, you can see the crime scene tape on the background of the show there. We've been doing some crime talk, and that was one of the things that we both enjoyed together. I dare I say, Therese, you enjoyed it more than I did.
Just a little, yeah.
Yeah, just a little. She would be obsessed with the crimes, and I got into it, and I must say that that it's a lot of fun. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We hope that you guys are into the same things too, or you want to share something about maybe some crimes or some or comments on the stuff that we're covering. We ask you guys to join us and participate, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun tonight with this as well. But first of all, Therese, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Holidays are coming. You got everything planned with the families?
I do.
Is everybody gonna be in the same place and together? No.
Jessica and the kids and Ian and Tara, they're all going to be here Christmas Eve, and then we'll be over there Christmas Day. But that's nice. Other parts are in Florida.
Are you cooking for them?
I'm cooking on Christmas Eve, yeah.
What are you going to make?
Baked ziti, broccoli, garlic bread, sausage, and peanut butter pie.
Oh, peanut butter pie.
Yeah.
I miss the peanut butter pie.
But I figured baked ziti for the kids, so they'll eat it. They're picky.
Well, I'll be heading down. I'll be going down to Mom's on Christmas Eve, and then normal get together on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day I'm going to be swinging over to one of the rehabs and working with some of the clients in the morning, spending some time with them, and then certainly then in the afternoon, then Mom and my niece and Karen and Arthur, some friends are going to stop by, and I'm going to make some eggplant parm.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the traditional Christmas eggplant parm.
We're both going Italian on Christmas Eve.
We are, but I'm not going to have any pasta. No pastas, no breads, none of that, because I'm continuing to slim down, and I want to keep that going and going into the new year. I've only got about 1,000 pounds to go. So.
Oh my God.
Nah, I'm good. You know what the cool thing is I'm on the last notch on my belt. So I have to move to one of my old belts that were from when I was thinner. Which is kind of cool.
That's good. Yeah.
If before it used to be like, if I'd need like hydraulic wrenches to try to get to that last buckle because it made me feel good. Then I couldn't breathe, cut off the circulation to my whole lower half of my body, and it was really sad. And now it's like I put it on there and my pants are still sliding down. So that's a good thing. Not that my pants are falling down. That's never a good thing. But it's good. And, so we're going into the new year too. Because we're not going to do the show again until next year.
Okay.
I know. I hate that. See you next year. I can't wait to start. I give everybody permission to kick, slap, or bite anybody who says to you in the next week, I'll see you next year. You have my permission. I hate that. But, it's kind of a good time to talk about, changes we want to make in the new year. You got anything going on that you want to do in the new year? Any plans, any goals that you'd like to hit this year coming up?
Well, not really goals.
Yeah.
I want to venture out into the world a little more. So
I just want to go outside and feel the sun on my face.
Well, if you leave me to my own devices, I will be an introvert.
Right.
We know this, right? So yeah. I've gotten comfortable here. So now I think this spring is time for me to just go walk down by the canal, stop and get a coffee somewhere, just, get out more, do more, just be around more people.
Right. And, and I know you got old friends, girlfriends, and high school friends, and different people like that. They're not necessarily right there in Rochester, but they're not that far. Where hopefully you could start including them and doing some of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I know also it's been pretty easy for me since our breakup that I've spent a lot more time just kind of like just being alone in the house. And it's like I come home from work and I could have it go out and do could go out and do that. But no, I just kind of sit and paint or play my guitar or watch a movie or something.
A podcast.
Or one of my podcasts. Yeah, exactly. But this is almost social interaction here.
Almost.
It's close.
I mean, it is. It is.
Would you have even thought last year at this time that you'd be doing podcasting?
No.
Well, you're killing it. It's great.
When did we start?
I don't know. It would be interesting to look at that. I don't know how long we've been doing. Sandy's here saying hi, kids. My mom.
Hi.
She's just joining us, and I don't know. I can't remember when we started. Was it during the summer?
I don't remember either. And we're gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I'll have to look back at the old shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of, guys, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel or whatever. If you want to see all of our shows right now, they're at the ATC Network on YouTube, the ATC Network. Of course, they're also, you can check out our Facebook pages and get a hold of us if there's ever anything you would like us to talk about or something you'd like to share with us. But anyway, to the point of the show, we're going to be talking about some crimes. And I want to give everybody a quick update on our favorite crime, which was our first one we discussed, which was the Vallow Daybell case. And there's Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, now Mr. and Mrs. Daybell. And that's the farm where the kids were buried. Her 2 children were killed. His wife was killed. Her ex-husband was killed. Or
he wasn't her ex.
Estranged husband was killed. Her husband prior to that died under weird circumstance. Her brother died. So this is like a whole series, but right now the real focus is on the 2 kids and the wife of Chad Daybell. That's where the focus is. They did set a trial date now. They had one in January. They have now moved it to April 3rd. So no matter what Therese and I are doing as far as a show and everything else, we'll make sure that we will be covering that trial.
Yes.
Because that one's a doozy.
And one makes me nervous.
Why?
I think the prosecutors have made some major mistakes.
It seems like that's the case in all of these huge profile trials. It's like the OJ.
Yeah.
It's like the OJ trial.
Yeah.
It's like somehow the prosecutors always end up looking like idiots. Not in every case, obviously, but I'm not sure how these two nut jobs, these 2 wackadoodles.
No offense to anyone that's crazy out there.
What's that?
No offense to anyone.
Well, no, I'm sorry. If you killed a few members of your own family, you would nut job and wackadoodle, stick with it. If you got a problem with it, I'll give you Therese's address. No, I'm kidding. I don't know how these people can do these kind of like insane crimes. It's every bit of evidence is pointing in that direction. Every bit of common sense is telling you this is what happened. And still the prosecution could drop the ball and just screw it up.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude, Daybell, practically admitted to burying the kids.
Right.
He called his wife and says, I buried a large raccoon back in the yard where the kids were buried. So he basically told her, I buried something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
I know, but they made some mistakes. They're overconfident or something. So I really do hope they have a lot that they haven't released.
I hope so too.
Evidence.
It's just too crazy. So we're going to talk about, I got a case and you got a case that we want to talk about.
Correct.
My case is close to you, by the way.
Is it?
It's if you go to the Lake Ontario there, which you're not far from, well, you're a couple miles from the lake, right?
Well, I'm on the canal, Erie. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're near Lake Ontario.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of a ways, but yeah.
Okay. Well, if you get to the lake and get in a boat and you go straight north and then turn left just a little bit, you'll be in Pickering, Ontario, which is where I'm going to be talking about the case. It's almost directly across the lake from you.
Okay.
You know, so I'm getting something in it's where you are.
Yeah, I've learned that Ontario is not that far.
No, you're up at you were in the North Country.
You know how I am with directions.
Okay, up is north on every map. I'm sorry. I used to believe that when I was a kid. When they're like, "Which way is north?" And I'm like, "Up," because the arrow always points up on the compass. It's like, I didn't understand that. I thought that the Earth was south and the sun was north, and I thought that's what it was. So I was not a smart kid. I was very special. Little bus. All right. Oh, speaking of you being up in the North Country, please bundle up this week. You're going to get some cold weather going.
The winds are supposed to be bad. I'm hoping we don't get that much snow though.
Well,
but the winds are supposed to be crazy.
I think they're calling for snow for you on Saturday and a little bit Friday, Saturday.
And Sunday. But I don't think it's any big amount here.
Okay.
They're more warning against the winds and the cold. But I'm off on Friday. I'm off from Friday till Tuesday.
Awesome. Well, you'll have a white Christmas. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Down here, we won't get any snow. We won't have any snow, but it's supposed to be 47 degrees here.
Oh my goodness.
In the morning on Christmas, and 57 is the high during the day. Down in Florida, people, if you're down in Miami area down here where we are, 57 shuts the world down here. Everybody thinks they're but the women all get to do what, Therese?
Wear their boots.
They get to wear their boots.
One day out of the year.
They celebrate. All the Uggs come out. Rain here and a sudden freeze. Okay, that's Danette. She's in Jersey. So
yeah, we're supposed to get a sudden freeze too. We'll see.
Just be careful of the roads and everything. All right, why don't you start with what you got for us today, Therese?
I have Suzanne Morphew, who is still unsolved. Her husband was arrested, and then the charges were dropped against him. So they still haven't found her body, but she's still missing. They consider her dead.
What's her last name?
Morphew. Morphew.
Oh, okay. All right. So what happened?
She went missing on Mother's Day. Her daughters were on a camping trip. They texted to say Happy Mother's Day. She wasn't answering anybody. Her husband was away, like 4 hours away, doing a job, he said, which, Mother's Day is a Sunday. So apparently the story is that she went for a bike ride and never came back. But they found the bike. They found a helmet like a mile from her house. But they didn't find any blood, any personal belongings, her. Yeah, that's them.
That's her. Wow. Good looking couple.
Mm-hmm.
And now where did this take place?
Wait.
All right.
It's like a small town, but I thought it was like Colorado, like in the country somewhere.
Okay. All right. So she goes out, never comes back, no trace.
Right.
What is the husband saying at this point?
Oh, of course. Well, see, he has a lot of different stories. I'm trying to find out where it was because now I forgot. But he has a lot of different stories. Maybe a mountain lion took her. Maybe this happened. Maybe that happened. I mean, they had this big, humongous, beautiful house in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So, he's saying that he didn't do anything. Oh, Colorado. Yeah.
Okay.
He's saying he didn't do anything to her and that he doesn't know where she is. And through the investigation, it turned out she was having an affair.
Okay.
And their marriage wasn't the best. They found out at the time. And apparently the last thing she said to him or texted to him was that she was done, that the marriage was going to be done.
So she tells her husband that the marriage is done, and then she disappears.
Yes.
Well, I guess my first assumption would go to she ran off with her cheating person.
But she didn't.
Her other guy. So obviously they know this other guy is still around. They've talked to him, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, they talked to him. He was trying to hide for a while because he didn't want to ruin her reputation. He also married with like 5 kids. So, of course, that was going to affect his life.
Married with 5 kids?
Mm-hmm. But once they found him, he did cooperate, and he lives in Michigan, and he was in Michigan the time that she disappeared. And so he was ruled out.
All right. Okay. Suzanne Morphew, whatever her name is.
I know, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like a weird name. All right. So she's missing. When did she go missing again? When was this?
Mother's Day.
Yeah, no. Is it like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. A couple years ago.
So is the case still active? Is this something that people are still looking into, or has this been basically brushed aside and is no longer being looked at?
I think it's 2019. I don't think anyone's really working very hard at it. Honestly, this is another case where I think the prosecution went too hard, too fast. I think they had a hunch that he did it, but they didn't hold off arresting him to get more evidence.
Oh, so they jumped right into him.
Well, it seemed like once they decided that it was him, that they sent down the charges quickly. But if they had let him, because he kept contradicting himself. So if they had let him continue to talk, I think he would have dug himself a hole. But once he was arrested and charged, his lawyer said, "Shut up." Right?
Yes, of course. Of
So,
course.
Yeah.
Mary Kay saying, "Hi, Huggables." And Mary Kay and I have a show tomorrow night. We'll be out there. Didn't the husband have a girlfriend?
Well, I don't know if they proved that he had a girlfriend before she went missing or not, but he has since, yes, very shortly after.
Well, he waited 36 hours. It was really, I'm sure he was in mourning for a very long period of time.
I think it is suspected, but it hasn't really been proven.
Wow. So that's one of those. We've seen a lot of those where, what was the most famous one? The Scott Peterson, right?
Yeah.
Where, but they finally proved he killed his wife and everything, right? And did all that.
Well, yeah, he was sentenced to death, but they pulled back the death penalty, but he just got refused for a new trial. So they still think that the charges stick and he's in jail for life.
He's getting a new trial?
No, they refused it. He wanted a new trial,
yeah. Yeah.
But they did take him off death row.
All right. I mean, we see this all the time with husbands, and that's like that kind of picture that we're looking at there, kind of like, how come there's always water involved?
I know.
When we're looking at that. Now, I want everybody to look at this real quick. This is the opener of the show, but look at the picture of Therese and I and our background. Okay, does that not look like one of those pictures they hold up and say, "This woman's missing now"?
I know, right? I know.
Why we split up so that we wouldn't do that? Because one of them might end
up.
Thank
you, because I would probably have been missing.
You would have done you would have gotten me because you studied all the good ways.
All the good ways.
She actually has a coffee mug and you posted the other day, don't mistake my silence for what was it, peace or kindness. Don't mistake my silence for kindness. Nobody plans a murder out loud. I love that. Let's see.
I think I left that mug there though.
Oh, Danette, the old bring the date to the funeral trick.
Yeah, right.
That is never good. Let me see. Sleep with one eye open. Yeah, absolutely. Danette, obviously you're married because I can see in the little picture there you've got. That looks like kind of that last photo before somebody disappeared.
That last photo.
Every photo you have, everybody's going to question from now on with their significant other. Every photo that's out there, they're going to think, is this the one they're going to be using on the news when I disappear?
Is this the one they're going to pick?
Oh, she says, that's my kids. I'm sorry, Danette. I apologize. I can't. It's a small picture. I can't see it very well. You look very young.
Actually, that's a compliment then, right?
Yeah, I was complimenting you. That's what it was. Not that you were dating one of your kids. That's not what I'm. That's a crime we don't cover. What's that?
Both of those are her kids.
Both of those are her kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're not going to talk about those kind of crimes. No bueno. We don't cover the Epsteins of the world and things like that. No. So yeah, isn't your profile picture of you sailing? Yes, it is. Yes.
It is now.
What's that?
I said, you are on the water again.
I am on the water. So there's a picture of you and I on the water, and then there's just me driving the boat by myself. Don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. She just fell overboard. I don't know. Sometimes these people, they have the dumbest stories.
Yeah.
About especially when they involve how many times have we heard these stories about they went out boating and then there was an accident, she fell overboard and I didn't know she fell overboard?
Yeah.
How do you not know if you're in a boat with two people?
You're in a boat.
If there's one missing, it's like being in an elevator with two people, then one was missing. You can't do. You know where they went. You're on a freaking boat. Oh,
I know it's a mystery.
People get away with this stuff though all the time. So just don't. We're not encouraging murdering your spouse. I just want to make sure that we know that. I wonder why my husband bought a new sailboat. Yeah. Maybe we should get the details about her life now before something happens to her.
I know, right?
We'll be ready for the eventual show we're going to do.
I know. Email us your info.
Natalie Wood. Look at that.
Yeah. That was never solved, right?
That was never solved. Who was on the boat? Robert Wagner. What's it? Christopher Walken was on the boat that night.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of people on that boat.
Yeah.
And you know what? And they actually, I know for a fact in one conversation that she had on the boat, Robert Wagner says, "Why don't you go take a shower?" And she says, "No, I'd rather wash up on shore." I'm sorry, right? God. I'm sorry.
There's never a right time for that joke.
But we're all laughing on the inside thinking, I can tell that one tomorrow.
Bad.
There's a letter in a bank lockbox in case of my sudden demise.
Okay.
Perfect. We can do a whole show just on spousal murder. Yeah. Now, what do you think is more often? Women murdering their husbands or husbands murdering their wives? In your opinion, you've watched a lot of these.
Yeah. Husbands murdering their wives. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, statistically, I believe that's higher. I mean, you hear about, Snapped is all about women killing their husbands. But
I know. This is your favorite show.
It was one of my favorite shows until now.
There were days there were whole marathons of that show, and I'm just like programming people to kill people. It's crazy.
But statistically, I still believe it's husbands.
I would agree with you, but hey, here's hoping you guys will catch up.
Yeah. And what do you think? A woman? Wow, there have been some women that got caught.
Yes, but I think they'd probably handle it better than men do because men are stupid. I'm going to tell you, men are stupid. Yeah, well, we got on the boat. She just fell over, and I don't know. I was fishing, so I didn't see. It's like stupid stuff.
What would you think is the number one motive for killing your wife?
Number one motive for killing your wife because she was going to leave you.
That is the most dangerous time, is when a woman announces that she's getting ready to leave her husband. That is a very dangerous time for women.
Yeah. I mean, they get so possessive, man. Then it says money.
I say money is a big motivator, and other women.
Other women. I would think women would kill their husbands more for money, and husbands would kill women more for jealousy or so that they won't leave. Because, well, or it's kind of stupid. You're not leaving me. I'm going to kill you first. And then, it's not like they're still with you then.
Right.
But if I can't have you, nobody can. One of those deals.
Yeah.
Or I want out because I'm having an affair, and like, if I divorce you, you're going to well, now we're back to the money. If I divorce you, she's going to take half my stuff. So now it becomes money motivated again. Here's a good reason we don't talk about stupidity.
Yeah.
There's a reason. So once again, Therese brought us the case of Suzanne Morfu from Colorado, went missing. She was having an affair. Possibly he was having an affair. He knows nothing about it. He has, I guess, apparently he's running around saying, maybe the dingoes ate my wife. And the prosecutors got nothing. The prosecutors.
Well, I mean, they had stuff. I just think that they went too hard, too quick.
Well, I mean, nothing is nothing. The case I'm going to talk about, there truly was nothing because the prosecutors would not look into it. The police, would not look into it.
Okay, so what's your story?
Okay, so my story is about the Lost Boys of Pickering. Now, usually when I say Lost Boys, everybody thinks, okay, I'm not talking about Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. I'm not talking about those Lost Boys, because there's nothing that can help Corey Feldman at this case, at this point. You want to see something really bad? YouTube Corey Feldman's band. He's now a musician. And, one thing, if you're going to be a lead singer in a band, you should probably know how to sing. Anyway, this is the Lost Boys of Pickering. Pickering is a little town outside of Toronto. And it is almost due north from where you are in Rochester. If you go straight across Lake Ontario up into Canada, north, that's where Pickering is. And there's a little better shot of the boys there. Michael Cummins, Robbie Rumble, Jay Boyle, Jamie Lefevre, Chad Smith, and Danny Higgins. 6 boys back on March 17th in 1995 were at a party. And it was like a spring break party. And all these kids were together. Now, at one point, Danny, who was the youngest, left the party, but then he came back. So that's really not real interest in the story. But the 6 boys around 10 of 1, the 6 boys left the party. They actually did state that they were going to go over to the local marina and just kind of raise a little hell, have a little fun. The last contact anybody had with these boys, they left the party. Nobody ever saw them again. The last contact was at 1:30 when Jay, one of the boys, called his girlfriend and just said that they were going to take a paddle bicycle. And it's one of these big tricycles with huge water wheels on them. You could take it in the water and you paddle and you can move around. They said they were going to ride one of those around at the marina.
Okay. And how are they going to do that at 1:30 in the morning?
Well, the thing is, the next morning, the boys never showed up. None of the boys returned home. There was, on camera, they saw 3 of the boys at the marina, in one part of the marina, kind of going across the parking lot. So it was confirmed that that's where they were last recorded or seen anywhere, was there. The next day, there was a Boston Whaler fishing boat. It wasn't a Boston Whaler, but it was like a copycat of a Boston Whaler, which is pretty much an open bottom fishing boat, open top fishing boat, just a wide open boat. You usually go out and it's unsinkable because it's filled with foam. and then it's covered in plastic. And if you broke the ship in half, it would still float because it's like a big flotation device.
Okay.
That was missing, and a water tricycle was missing.
Okay.
So these two things were missing. They called the police. The police in Pickering did not follow up on the case. They took the call, they listened, but they did not do anything. They did not even write a report. They didn't go out and follow up. Mary Kay, that's in my neighborhood. She actually lives in Pickering, up there. So they reported him as missing, and it was almost a week later when the news really started getting out that these 6 boys leave a party and were never seen again. And the police finally, just kind of, they started backpedaling, saying, well, we didn't get a full enough report. Well, they were told where they were going, and they were told this is, the last time we talked to them, and they're not home, and they didn't do anything with it. So the police pretty much were on the defensive from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where we stand with the story, and this is now 1995. So this is what, 20, almost 30 years later, right?
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
95 was almost, wow. Jeez. No wonder everybody, when I play 80s music, they're like, you're playing oldies. I'm like, they're not oldies. It's the 80s. Well, apparently it is. So 30 years later, there has been very few pieces of evidence that have been found. They've never recovered a body. They've never recovered the boat that was missing or the water bike that was missing. The only thing that was ever found were 2 things that were found. One is near Niagara, because here's what the thought is. They took the boat out and they disappeared somewhere on Lake Ontario.
Okay.
But because the boat does not sink, it is strange that no piece of the boat was ever found.
Mm-hmm.
There was a gas can that the owner of the boat identified as being from his boat that they found, and they found it near Rochester.
Oh, really?
It had floated, it had gone across the lake. The problem with where they found it was it doesn't match with the tides as far as how far they could have gotten at the boat. They couldn't have gotten that far with the boat. And if the tide had taken the gas can, it would not have gone where it went. So it was very strange. They found a pair of red jeans that were supposed to match what one of the boys were wearing with some skeletal remains or partial skeletal remains. Just a few bones here or there.
Mm-hmm.
They did DNA testing, non-conclusive, and they actually said it wasn't the boys. And what was reported as red jeans and pictured as red jeans, the police later reported they were actually orange work pants, not red jeans. But their story changed all the time. The police ordered a flyover. They have these sonar scans that can scan the bottom of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually ordered this. And then a few days before the scientist was supposed to come and do it, they canceled the order and did not do it.
I wonder why.
Don't know why. So there are theories out there. These are 6 boys.
How old were they?
6 boys. They were ages 16 to 18. Let's see. Yeah. Jay was 17. Michael was 17. Danny was 16. Jamie was 17. Robbie was 17. And Chad was 18. It's just amazing that there would be no sight or sign of them after leaving such a public place, going somewhere that they obviously were caught on tape, them stealing the boat. I guess the idea that they sank in the boat and that's pretty much it is where the people are left. But there was also other stories going around that these kids were into possibly a drug deal that went bad. There's stories that a few of these kids just a few weeks prior to them disappearing had run-ins with the cops where it was not a pleasant run-in. And so there's all sorts of theories, but just the absolute lack of evidence is crazy. Now, there was a report of a helicopter that was flying over the lake that would have been in a place that made sense, saw a white possibly a boat-like object just under the surface of the water as it flew over. They called it in. The call was taken at the police, but never recorded.
Why hasn't it never recorded?
It was years later that this guy says, I called that. I saw it and I called it. And they're like, oh, we have no record of that.
Oh, it's convenient. Yeah, it seems weird. It seems weird. But I have heard, and maybe Mary Kay can confirm this or not, but I have heard it's very hard to get information on cases in Canada. It's not like here, like where we have the Freedom of Information Acts and people can request info and the news has everything and the newspapers have everything. I heard it's much harder. They're much closed off up there in Canada.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Mary has some insight on that, because I know that several times, one guy in particular, a private investigator by the name of Bruce Ricketts, was contracted to figure out what went on, and even he, as a private investigator, could get very little information out of the police.
Yeah,
and all right, she's saying. She says, well, she's agreeing with you. She thinks that's right, Therese, that it's just different. Down here, you get a couple of moms with a picket sign outside the police department. They're handing everything over to you,
well, there's also, I mean, there are, like, we do have much more open public records, right?
Right.
Canada, they just have a lot. Because one of the YouTubers I watch is in Canada. And she covers a lot of U.S. cases because she can get more information on them than she can in her own country.
Absolutely. By the way, those jeans and that other stuff that were found back in 2014, they were asked, the Niagara police were asked to do the DNA testing and they declined. So there were places that could have done the DNA testing to a better extent that declined to do them. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Sounds like a cover-up type thing. I don't want to get into the whole conspiracy thing because that's a whole different show, but it sounds like kind of like a cover-up.
It does sound like it sounds like they messed up from the start. Mm-hmm. They had to cover their ass, and then I don't know. But if it's a bunch of kids going out and doing something stupid, I mean, you got 6 different families there. This isn't like, 3 kids from 2 different families. There's 6 different families out there that need some answers, and they're not moving very quick on it. So if you want to know more about it, Mary Kay's saying she agrees that a cover-up. Living in Pickering, I know Mary Kay's lived there for a while. Do people discuss it? I mean, is it one of those urban legends or folklores that people talk about? Right, and do they talk about it like it is a cover-up? I'm just curious what she could say about that. Maybe we'll have her on the show sometime and she can give us more information about that whole case, because that is just it's just such a crazy case.
It is. It is. That's crazy. How can 6 kids go missing for 27 years?
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And we're talking constantly about, the Daybells with the 2 kids that were missing. And it's like, how can they go missing and not,
right.
Or the husband and wife, the husband's missing, the wife is missing or something. But 6 people leaving a party, no trace, no evidence, nothing. And it's not even confirmed that they're the ones who stole the boat. It's just an assumption that the boat was stolen by these kids. There's no evidence that they stole it. She's never talked to anybody about it. And maybe it's probably in bad taste to bring it up. Who knows?
Maybe. Well, I mean, you have the chance of running into somebody that would know one of those 6 kids, right?
Oh, that's true.
I mean, that involves a lot of people between parents and siblings and cousins and.
Yeah. So if you want to know more about that case, definitely look it up. The Lost Boys of Pickering. And again, a lot of years, there's been a lot of mistakes made. But just the how somebody could disappear like that is amazing.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
And again, if you want to learn more about the case that Therese was talking about, you definitely just want to look up Susan Morphew I hope I'm saying her name right.
I think that's right.
Yeah, Morphew. Susan and her husband, Mr. Happy Face there.
Very.
He looks way too happy.
Yeah, a couple of the YouTubers I watched did that story.
What with the Susan or with
the Pickering, the Lost Boys?
Yeah. There's a lot of great crime shows out there. We're certainly not out doing like hours and tons of research. We're pulling together just some basic information. Certainly, if you want to learn more, there's some great crime podcasts. We're just having a little fun with this. We're probably not going to do this every time. I think what we'll do is we'll probably go back to our regular show format with a crime segment where we'll do that. Because, certainly and I know Therese is busy and we don't have time to do all of the research that some of these other people do. I think the world is changing a little bit with some of these people that are doing these kind of podcasts, though, isn't it? It's like they're drawing attention to stuff that people never would have talked about.
Yeah, well, there's also been a little bit of, it's kind of a push and pull with that. Yes, there has been some things that have come out and helped, right? That girl that went missing recently with the laundry, what was her, Gabby Tito. It was bloggers who, lived in their van and traveled across the traveled living in their van. And they blogged about it and they just happened to catch their van in their travels. They noticed the Florida license plate and they were originally from Florida. So they thought, now that somebody else from Florida. So they kind of took notice of it, and they were able to, once they found out where the last were known to be, blah, 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 they went through their footage and they found it. And that's how they found her body, was because she was very close to there, like a 5-minute walk from where the van was found parked.
Yeah. Did they, I don't think they've ever released the cause of death yet, did they? Or maybe they did.
Yes, strangulation.
Oh, it was strangulation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, everybody says, Brian Laundrie did it. Mm-hmm. The boyfriend, who returned home without her. When asked where she was, he was kind of like, again, the stupid guy answer, I don't know. I thought she was in the van with me. No, he's just like, well, she just left, and that was like his defense. There was a lot of things that happened. I think that's a case.
Well, actually, he never said a word to anybody. He never talked to the police. He never talked to her parents. So he never gave a reason.
That's true.
He just never said anything. He just came home with their van that they were traveling in and without her in it.
So the police never questioned him directly?
No.
Wow. Okay. We're going to have to dig into this one. I think this will be a good one for us to sink our teeth into a little bit about what happened. Or at least, I would like to do that. And I could actually probably get Dog to give us a few quotes because he was part of the search. My friend Dog, the bounty hunter, he and I talked about it a few weeks ago when I was out of his place. He was talking about this search and how they searched the park where he was eventually found. But that it was a very strange circumstance. And, and here we have a situation where a son comes home after being on a trip with his fiance that the parents knew the fiance very well. She lived with them for a period of time. All the families were tight and close. He comes home and all of a sudden they shut the whole house down. They're not talking to anybody. The girl's family's calling this family saying, what's her name? Gabby. Where's Gabby? And they're not answering the phone. This is before they found her body, before they knew there was foul play, before anything else. They already knew something bad had happened. So here's my question. If this Brian Laundrie goes home and tells his family, I killed her, or something bad happened and we can't talk to anybody, and they continue to cover it up and they don't talk to the police and they don't talk to the family, and they finally have to talk to the police a little bit, and they do this kind of sideways cooperation thing where they're actually taking them off the trail and hiding evidence. Why are they not prosecuted? That's what I don't understand. So many times these families get involved and they they hinder a prosecution or they hinder an arrest, but they're never prosecuted. They should be prosecuted, don't you think?
I think so. But then when they found out that he committed suicide, I think they kind of said, well, not much. I don't know.
Parents should be prosecuted. That's coming from my mother. She's saying parents should be prosecuted.
Well, I mean, you have to assume that his parents at least suspected something, right? I personally think that he told them, but that's here nor there.
When he went on the run, he went to a park, a national park up there near Ocala area in Florida, and he parked his car. And the next day, the parents went up and picked up his car and brought it home. But they said they never saw him. Why would you go pick up a car if your son's out in the woods somewhere and take the car home? It doesn't even make sense. Then they searched those woods high and top to bottom. They got state police, they got local police, they've got local volunteers, and Dog the Bounty Hunter is one of them out there looking, and they're searching and they're doing all this stuff. They never find him. Then they start searching out of the area, even into other states. And then the father goes into the woods and finds the body. Well, right where they were searching before, but apparently that part was underwater at the time.
Apparently, yes.
Which to me, it is all so freaking strange.
It's very sketchy. It's very, very sketchy. But they are, I don't know if there was a ruling on it or not, but the Petito family is suing the Laundrie family.
And they should.
In a civil lawsuit. Mm-hmm.
And they should, because how could the Laundrie family claim that they didn't know what was going on when they participated so much in the back end of this thing?
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying they knew their son was going to go kill this girl or that they participated in the murder, but they participated in the cover-up and in his escape.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if you can call it an escape because he was not under arrest yet. And I believe that is a mistake by the police that they did not keep him under surveillance. They should have, right?
They said they did have him under surveillance, but they got tricked when his mother was driving his car. They thought that it was him that had come back home, and it was his mother. So they thought he was in the house. Like, they thought they had him under surveillance the whole time.
And that was like almost more than a week that they thought he was in the house, that he was actually already gone.
Yeah.
Danette saying polygraph. Well, polygraph, you got to bring him in for a polygraph. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's still not admissible in court.
No, it's not.
That's why I believe bamboo shoots under the fingernails is a much better.
I think sometimes people have better luck in civil lawsuits than they do in the actual courthouse. Look at OJ.
Now if I'm not convicted of the crime of killing the person, how can somebody sue me about killing the person? That's what I don't understand. So basically, OJ was convicted in a civil court.
Yes.
Of what, though?
Of being involved in her murder.
But if he was found not guilty, that means he was not.
Because in a court of law, they brought up reasonable doubt, so a jury would not convict him. But a civil lawsuit, the family brought against him, saying that they believed that he did have something to do with it, and they won their lawsuit. What was that?
Danette is just going crazy. She's like, battery leads attached to, she's talking about like giving people electroshock to get them to talk. Yeah. Danette, whoever your husband is, don't ever lie to your wife, brother. The laws of evidence are different is also, I guess.
Yeah. And you don't have to take the stand in a court hearing, right? Your lawyers, most defense lawyers decide, do not take the stand. Let us do it. Let us, because you can mess up your own case. But in a civil lawsuit, you have to do a deposition under oath. You have to do it.
You can't plead the fifth in a civil court?
I mean, you can, but how good is that going to look if you don't answer anything, right?
Right.
So it is a whole different ballgame because you can't run away from that. You can't hide behind your lawyers. it's you there answering tough questions.
See, now I also heard that once you plead the fifth, you can't answer any questions after that.
I think you can plead the fifth on different questions.
On specific questions. See, I thought it was a case where once you plead the fifth, you pretty much can't answer anything. So I don't know. These are rules of law that we're not familiar with, but we're trying to learn. We're going to learn a little bit about it. Learn with us, and
I'll
have some fun with us. Look that up.
Okay.
Look up the real, what is the real difference between the civil and and what does it mean if you're convicted?
Oh, well, I was going to do the plead the fifth. Now you're getting me involved a lot more.
I want you to go to the Yale Law Library and check out. I actually wanted to be a lawyer at one point, just because I've got a way of talking myself out of trouble. And and I thought I could do that for other people.
Oh, you probably could.
I was good
at it. For a man quite a bit.
I was best friends with your brother. I mean, that's the only way we survived, by me talking us out of shit that he got us into.
Well, yeah, because he can't talk his way out of a paper bag.
No, because the first thing, did you touch that girl? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no, dude, no. Don't say that. That's how we got our butts kicked every once in a while. Anyway, so that's what we have going on. Once again, if you want to know more about these cases, look up Suzanne Morfu, and she is a missing mom and wife from Colorado, and there's really no trail whatsoever. I'm not even sure that the police are carrying any theories on it right now that you're aware of.
No.
They looked at the husband, but they didn't have anything to hold on him. Also, if you want to know more about these boys never seen again, they're called the Lost Boys of Pickering. It did happen in Canada. It's not an American crime. So sorry. However, neither was Jack the Ripper, and he's popular. So, hey.
He's popular.
He is. He's had movies and books and all sorts of things. I'm surprised we don't have Jack the Ripper breakfast cereal.
He was never solved either, right? They never found out who he actually was, right?
They never did, but the theories were just so out there, that it was a doctor, it was this, it was there was one theory that it was one of the local politicians. It was just, but it was never solved. Jack the Ripper was never solved. It's just stopped. And the theory is that whoever it was either died or ended up in jail for a different purpose is why it stopped. But because those kind of ritualistic killings, there's no reason that wouldn't keep going.
Right.
But we're obsessed. The Charles Mansons of the world, we're obsessed with those. And Charles Manson, who's considered one of the most horrific people in the world, that's like the evil. That's like there's Hitler and there's Manson, the evil in the world. Manson never killed anybody. He never killed anybody. I want to make sure people understand that. He talked people into doing things. Mm-hmm. And the crimes that were committed by his people. But some of his people got out of jail before he's still in jail.
Yeah.
Or did he die?
I don't know. No, I think he's still in jail, but I don't think any of the women got out, did they?
No,
I think
a few of the followers that went to jail as participants, but not the people that actually committed the murders. Yeah. No, they did not get out. They thought it might have been one of the royal family. Yeah, that was from Jack the Ripper. Yeah. There you go. Again, Jack the Ripper was thought to be a royal. Oh. So, well, apparently they were a royal pain in the ass, I'll tell you that.
That would be a good way to get away with it, because apparently they get away with a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. And just the horrific nature of what he did. But anyway, we're obsessed with that kind of evil. We're not trying to promote that. We're not trying to promote crime. Therese and I we joke about, kill your spouse. And we're not, please don't say, hey, I saw the Exes podcast. That's why I killed her. No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
See, we separated nicely. We didn't kill each other.
Squeaky
Frome. Don't condone that.
Squeaky Frome is out. That was one of the people. That was one of the people that were in the Manson family.
Oh, okay, but not one of the persons that actually killed anybody.
I think they were at the murder scene, but they didn't kill anybody. I believe that's correct. She was one of the people.
I think some of the women are still pretty disturbed.
Well, forgive me, to do what they did, you have to be disturbed.
Yeah.
You have to be disturbed completely. That's why I always get a kick out of the insanity plea. It's insane to kill another human being. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
It is an insane act to kill another human being. So if they're pleading, of course they were insane. So I don't get this whole thing where insanity is now an excuse. It should not be.
Well,
it just should not be. I don't know. I never plan my day because then premeditated gets thrown around in court. That's good. That's good. Don't plan. Would you like to have lunch? Sorry, I don't want to make those kind of plans. If I just show up and kill you, I can make that work. But if I plan the lunch, then, it's premeditated. It's an extra 30 to life. So I don't want to do it. Anyway. So we will be back. We're going into our holidays. And of course, Therese and I wish everybody that they have a very happy and healthy holiday. And hopefully you guys got some people and family and friends to share your time with. With everything we talk about and all that we do, it really just does come down to family, doesn't it, Therese?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's what we got.
That's what we got.
That's what we got. Unless you're one of the Daybells or the Valens. Family's a good thing. Families are good.
Families are usually good, yes.
Yes, don't make friends with the Wagners. Let's see.
Any New Year's resolutions?
Gives new meaning to let's play it by ear. Okay. People have such a lack in their lives that they fall under the spell of the Svengalis like Manson. Yes, they do. They do.
Well, let's say that those type of people also target vulnerable people, right?
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Manson wasn't out picking up well-adjusted youth off the street and doing things like that.
No.
He was looking for the lost and the confused and the somewhat mentally compromised, if you will, so that he could lead them. And that's what people do, is they look for the lowest common denominator and they attack that and they control that. So yeah, that's anyway. What were we saying about the holidays now? Or?
New Year's resolution for you?
For me? You know what? I started mine already, which is something that my friends have shown me how to do. Instead of just planning an arbitrary date for an arbitrary goal, start what you want to start today. And just the only resolution I have is, God bless you, Coco. The only resolution I have is to keep heading in a positive direction in the new year. The business is starting to grow. That's a beautiful thing. My body's starting to shrink. That's a beautiful thing. One grows. I'm starting to get in shape. I'm painting again. I took a break from painting for a while. I'm back to painting again. I want to spend more time with that. And really, really just keep going with what I've got in the new year. Oh,
awesome.
Hi, guys. Positive thinking. Yes.
Awesome.
It's my daughter Hillary's with us. With her, the little picture of the Hazel and Jake, my grandkids. Oh. How about you? What's your New Year's resolution?
Oh, I thought I already told you. Get out of the house.
Oh, out of the house. That's right. That's right. You did
socialize.
You did show that. Mine's going to be to listen better, apparently.
That would be a good one.
All right. Well, Danette, Hillary, Mary Kay, Sandy, everyone out there who's been watching and commenting and listening, we appreciate you joining us. We wish all of you a very happy Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, if you will, and certainly a Happy New Year. And we hope that we go into the new year with new hopes, new dreams, and new goals, and just motivate yourself, get things going. And just happy holidays to everybody.
Yes, happy holidays. Well, can we just say Merry Christmas?
We can say Merry Christmas, okay. Of course.
Love you too, Hill.
Love you too, Hillary, of course. And Mary, thank you for being here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you want to do. It's all the same stuff. Just go out there and be nice to somebody. Remember, if you want to have a good day, do one thing nice for somebody else, two things nice for yourself, and you always have a good day. But until next time, we'll be back here we'll see you next year.
Dun, dun, dun. What date?
On the 4th.
The 4th of January. Okay.
January 4th, we'll be back, and we will probably do like a little bit of a half and half show. We'll do half and half about the exes, half about crime. I don't know if we'll look more into the laundry case, or we'll find something. Therese and I will do a little research and communicate and come back with something interesting for you guys on the crime scene. All right?
Sounds good.
Therese, as always, it's a joy.
Yes. Good to see you.
You too. And all of you out there, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time right here on the Exes Podcast.